Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm American Dan, and this is Wings and Rex. Today we're taking a look at the brand spanking new Black Square Starship. The Beechcraft Starship. In part one, we're going to cover the basics of the interior and exterior, the textures, the tablet, and some of the systems. And then and possibly the startup procedure. Part two will actually fly the airplane and see how it flies. So you got a brief look at the interior as we walked in the plane here, but let's go ahead and see if I can get a better view. You'll have to forgive me, I'm not very good with this drone camera. So this is a 6 to 8 passenger business aircraft, business turboprop. As far as I know, there's actually only one that is still flyable. No cigarette disposal. So back when this airplane was designed, you could still smoke inside the airplane. Autographed message from Burt Rutan here saying best aircraft the company ever built. That's cool. Very nice job on the cockpit. We have the tablet here that runs all of the systems for the aircraft. When you start it up, the tablet's down here, so you just give it a click and it pops up. And you can control your cabin doors and pitot covers, engine covers, gear pins, and the external power unit with this tablet, as well as monitoring your aircraft systems and fixing failures. This is basically a study level aircraft, in my opinion. Here we have the engine page, and you can also refill your extinguishers and recharge your batteries. Then you have the same on the right engine. Your electrical system here, it gives you the electrical diagram. Tells you what fuses are connected to what. The fuses are modeled in this aircraft, so you can pop the fuse and push it back in. If we bring some power on the airplane, you can, it shows you what is active. We'll connect the GPU so we don't run the batteries down. Some old school Collins style avionics here. This is the actual FMS to run the nav system. I haven't played around with that much. They also have an old school Garmin 430 down here, which I'm a little bit more familiar with, so I'll probably use that one. Here's your autopilots, controls, and your HF radio, parking brake, trims, throttle quadrant, and electrical switches and engine switches and stuff over here. Your fuse panel is over here. And as you can see, you can manipulate the fuses. Ice protection over here. That's the stall system resetting after I messed with the fuse. Landing gear handle, anti-skid, your autopilot controls, heading, half bank, vertical speed, all that stuff's over here. And then you've got your radios up here, and this is your audio panel, and pressurization is down here. And then you also have your audio panel annunciator things over here. Let's turn on the avionics and take a look. We're on the ground and we don't want our avionics to overheat, so we're going to turn on the blower. These are all old school CRT tubes and they get real hot. So if you're on the ground, especially because there's really no airflow, you gotta want to make sure you have that blower on. Alright, so we have our standard instruments over here, indicated airspeed, altitude, and vertical speed gauge is this line that comes out of the vertical speed gauge. Takes a little bit to get used to, in my opinion, but it's functional and it does work. Reminds me a little bit of those cars in the 80s when things went all digital and you had the digital RPM gauge, kind of like that. And then down here we have the FMS, which has something to do with this thing down here. I have not read the manual enough or played with it enough to know exactly what this disc does. Maybe that's where it saves your flight plans. I'm not sure. And then over next to it you have your other display that you can get your normal procedure checklist, abnormal procedure checklist, radars, position map, flight plan map, or your FMS information. And it doesn't look like there's any routes saved in there. Let's go ahead and take a look outside.
Kodiak November 134 Bravo Tango with Lima. We're on the ramp in front of the tower. We'd like to request flight following to Kilo Romeo November Tango at 9,500 VFR.
Very nicely done textures and modeling. And it still amazes me how well the graphics are nowadays. This looks pretty real. Very strange looking airplane. It's like a Delta Wing and a Piaggio had a baby.
All aircraft information X-ray is now current. Altimeter 3010.
And as you're flying, and you'll see in the video when we fly the plane, these canards move to give you the right stability and aerodynamics. You've got these two massive engines on the back, and they look like they're very close to the fuselage. Hopefully they don't move in flight. Alright, well I don't really know what else to get into unless we, start going through the manual and listing off specifications and stuff like that. And it's kind of boring, so let's go ahead and just do the startup procedure here. At least how I start the airplane. My usual caveat is it may not be exactly by the book, but this is how Dan does it. Alright, we have made sure that we do not have pitot covers or engine covers or anything still installed. Parking brake is set. Alright, fuel levers are all the way down. Props should be in feather. And condition levers are in cutoff. We'll start the right engine first. I don't think it matters. So we'll go ignition. We'll watch for the N1 to come up. And then we'll introduce fuel. There's the light off. It's coming down. And the engine stabilizes at about 67%. We got a warning light here that our cabin temperature is high. It must be hot in here. So, now that we have the right engine started, we'll turn on the air conditioning. Alright, now that that engine's started, we'll go ahead and turn off the ignition, and we will turn off the ignition and starter. And then we will reset the right generator. And repeat the process for the left side. And one's coming up. Introduce fuel. No hot start, no hung start. Temperature's coming back down. Engine stabilizes at 67.6. Turn off the starter, reset the generator, 85, it's good. And 43, okay, it's sharing the load between the two. And we can go ahead and disconnect the external power. External power is disconnected. But it's still connected to the aircraft, so we need to return to the tablet and remove it there, and then it's gone. We still have our chocks in place though. Alright, well that is my quick review and startup procedure for part 1 for the Black Square Starship. Stay tuned for the next video where we will take the Starship in the air and see how she flies. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked the video, please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. A really nice and kind comment. That would make my day. Until next time, see you later.